Hey guys, it's been a while since I've made another review, but I might as well do it again because this is my favorite band, or at least one of my favorite bands that we're talking about here. This is Katatonia's newest album, The Fall of Hearts. You may be wondering why there's no intro music to this review. That's because the intro's always been it's always been much more time consuming for me to put together than the actual review itself. Like just for like a brief 15 seconds, I have to make sure that the theme music and the images and the transitions basically are in sync with one another and that they flow smoothly, and all those little minute things just basically take away from like any time I have to review the album. It just wastes time that I could be using to talk about the album itself. So, I kind of just felt like getting back to basics here. And I think that might make it more enjoyable for me, the whole album reviewing process, than to just waste my time doing the stuff that doesn't really matter in the long run. What the most important thing here is to just talk about the album. So I'll do that now. And I may bring it back at some point, but we'll see. For now, I just want to talk about the album, just discuss my thoughts, and just get back to basics. There's actually a bit of irony here because the very first album review in which I put in the intro music was for the Dance of December Souls record, which is the first Katatonia album in this discography series. This is the newest addition to the discography series, The Fall of Hearts. So it's interesting that I introduced the little thing at the beginning, and now I'm just gonna be like, fuck it, I'm gonna take it out at the end. So yeah, a lot's changed in the 3 years since I made that video. So yeah. Anyway, let's actually talk about the album itself. I'm wasting time by talking about something that wasted my time. So anyway, one of the first things I've noticed about this album is the length. Most past Catatonia albums have been between 45 to 55 minutes long. That's always been basically the traditional album range for them. This time it's about 67 minutes, so it's about 3 minutes shy of 70. So that means they have a few longer tracks on here, and even the shortest songs on here are no less than 4.5 minutes long. So, I mean, 4.5 is not exactly super long or anything like that, but there's no tracks that are shorter than it. There's no uh, super short song that's like 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes or whatever. Like every song on here is basically either going to be standard song length or like a little bit longer than average, which helps contribute to a longer album length, not to mention the number of songs that are on here, which is 12. And that's not even including the 3 to 4 bonus tracks that they have on here. 3 regular bonus songs, and the Japanese edition has a Judas Priest cover, I believe. So, yeah, you can tell that they've probably have a few new tricks up their sleeve on this album, and they have a few new deviations to explore here and there. I feel like this album sort of continues in the more progressive and experimental direction that they've been exploring with the past couple of works. They've got many lush, like acoustic and keyboard driven tracks like Shifts, Decima, Old Heart Falls, and Pale Flag, while also cranking up to 11, as they say in This Is Spinal Tap, with songs like Sarien, Serac, The Night Subscriber, which would fit right at home on an album like Viva Emptiness, and Passer. And despite the loss of guitarist Per Soto Eriksson and longtime drummer Daniel Lujekquist, sorry if I butchered that name, Roger Oyerson from Tiamat, and Daniel Moyanen, sorry if I butcher their names as well, they fill in their respective roles beautifully. It's very well done, and it's almost as if nothing had changed. And of course, like the keyboard passages, I heard that Frank's Default was not going to be on this release. Like you still hear many of the same keyboard passages on here. Like I know Jonas and Anders also take care of the keyboards, and again, it's almost as if nothing had changed from the previous couple of albums. So like it's very consistent and it's very like like it feels like the logical successor. Like even with all these like huge changes, like it's almost seamless just how it goes from one album to the other. Of course, Jonas and or Jonas, since it's Swedish, they say the J's in a different way, and Anders Nystrom, they're basically like the two front men of the band. And they are on top of their game, and these are some of their best songs that I think they've ever written. And of course, the songwriting is, yeah, like I said, very well done. The performances are top notch as always. So um, yeah, of course, I can't complain about that. They've always been really good at what they do, and this is basically a continuation of that effort. I will admit that this album took me some listens to really get into and for it to really click, but I found with every passing listen that I was able to get into it even more. There was always something new for me to find that I really liked, and that's what allowed me to enjoy this album even more. In fact, I enjoy this album already, like even more than Dead End Kings, the last album. I feel that the songwriting is even more dynamic and it's even more varied throughout. So it's just a much more enjoyable like listening experience in that way. I feel they take more risks that pay off like really well in the end. I feel like the longer running time gives a lot of these songs like more room to breathe and expand composition wise, and you never really feel the need to like look down at your watch out of boredom because these songs like go through a series of twists and turns that honestly you don't really see coming. I'm not saying that there weren't twists and turns on the previous Katatonia albums, but like with the longer song lengths and just yeah, with all that, like you're able to like do more with more time to play the material. Like it makes sense. You can't do a whole lot in 3 minutes. You can do much more with seven. You could do even more with 10, 20, 30. So that's what I mean by that, of course. I feel like this is a very complete package. Like, there's something really for everybody of like all sorts of Catatonia fans, whether you lean more towards the soft side of Catatonia or the heavier edge of Catatonia. Unless you want the death metal vocals back. Well, sorry, those are still not back. So, um, for anyone who's longing for the days of Brave Murder Day, they still those days have not come back. So those chances have been murdered by all you brave souls. So I tried to do a little pun there. Excuse me. Anyway, this is a fantastic release, and I highly recommend that you guys pick this album up, like at your local record store on Amazon or wherever, and just support the band because they definitely deserve your support. This is their 10th album after all, so that's definitely quite a milestone. And anyway, I don't really have much else to say. It's pretty short summary of the album. I couldn't really think of much else to say. I just want to continue listening to this bad boy. I highly recommend that you do so as well. So, yeah, anyway, thank you very much. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be going back to listening to this record. Thank you, and take care.